There was some wild news that came in last night. I was caught off guard and frankly was a little scared because it was getting late and I wanted to go to bed. But I found out that there was an 8.8 magnitude earthquake just off the coast of Russia in the Pacific Ocean, up in the northern Pacific, which proceeded to send shockwaves across the ocean over to the entire west coast of America. Meaning a tsunami watch was up for the entire west coast where I live. So I was concerned. I was like, oh shit, like, am I gonna wake up tonight to water flooding my basement? Like, what's gonna happen? I live on a very tall hill because Seattle is hilly and there's hills everywhere. I'm on top of one of them. But like, what kind of tsunami should I expect from an 8.8 magnitude earthquake? This is like the third biggest earthquake in Russian history. Like, if there's gonna be a big tsunami that fucks up Seattle, this is gonna be the one, is what I was thinking. Thankfully, it basically did not impact Seattle. The Olympic Peninsula is a pretty significant protector against monsoons, hurricanes, whatever they're called here. I think cyclones. They're called cyclones here. It's a really good defense against cyclones and tsunamis. Just a big wall of mountains that is several dozen miles thick to keep the ocean from swelling in to Seattle proper and turning the Puget Sound and Lake Washington into some kind of nightmare. Very geographically lucky, but regardless, it was Hawaii and more coastal regions, with a lot less geographical protection, that got less lucky. There apparently are still remaining worries of aftershocks and possible tsunamis still coming in certain parts of the West Coast and Hawaii. And so going into this, it's important to remember that these problems aren't going anywhere. Like, there's not going to stop being earthquakes. Earthquakes are going to keep happening, and there's going to be bad ones from time to time, more often than we'd like. And climate change caused by human action is only going to destabilize the environment to the point where something like an earthquake goes from being, not a big deal, to what a big deal. Because what if the next earthquake happens somewhere off the coast of Western Africa, for instance? I'm sure there's some earthquakey areas out there. And that sends a ripple across the Atlantic over to the east coast of the United States. The west coast of the United States is as prepared for a tsunami as you could be. Like, if I had to pick a part of America to get hit by an inevitable tsunami and wanted to minimize the damages, the west coast is where I'd pick. But the east coast, though, it would be catastrophic. Most of the East Coast exists as large cities at sea level right next to the water. Like, if you go to LA, for instance, it is like 2 miles of beach until you get to proper city. And then even once you get to the city itself, there's like a lot of very flood-ready infrastructure for miles before you get to people's houses and stuff. Like, it's all condos and high-rises for miles going inland and uphill until you get to people's houses. The kind of things that really couldn't handle a tsunami. Thing about the East Coast is a hurricane hits Florida and beaches disappear because the sand gets washed away. Or if a flood comes in due to already existing storm surge, it floods an entire town and covers it in sand. I don't need to remind you of what happened after the hurricanes in Florida, right? Who remembers those crazy Tfue videos? I know this is a little off topic, but like, I just want you guys to imagine, because think about how climate change could impact this. I want you guys to imagine what would happen if a earthquake up to par with this one happened off the coast of Africa, causing a significant tsunami to the east coast of the United States, while a hurricane is going down with storm surge. When you consider that, and you look at what already happens in the aftermath of these hurricanes, it's wild. Like, we do not want this to happen. I believe the YouTuber Tfue, yeah, here it is. Hurricane Helene destroyed his hometown. This is Clearwater, Florida, I believe.
Yeah, you can catch one wave and be 6 blocks down the beach.
Imagine a tsunami hits during the storm surge in this video. The East Coast could not handle something like this.
I need a truck to get home. Our driveway's flooded.
You want me to just take you?
Yeah, you want to take me, Merrick?
Yeah.
Don't go? All right. I love you guys, but I can't get my picture.
Yeah. Now, imagine a tsunami hits. Imagine this is happening, and the stars align, and a big-ass tsunami hits the East Coast at the same time. It would be a problem, dude. It would be a problem. Looking at the aftermath, it's literally an entire town covered in sand. Do we get a look at like, the town in this video around the end here? No, it doesn't show much of, like, the aftermath, but, like, the whole house got flooded. You know, it's very serious. This happened to me when I was a teenager. Hurricanes are already fucking up immense amounts of man-made infrastructure across the American South and across the East Coast. We saw how the Appalachia region dealt with that hurricane. It was catastrophic. The landslides, the rivers overflowing, literally like something out of the apocalypse. We cannot afford to destabilize the environment further when Mother Nature already throws stuff like this at us. If Mother Nature and man's own effects on the environment have the crossover at the right time, or the wrong time, I should say, it could be catastrophic. So keep that in mind going into this story.
Many were sleeping. Tsunami waves hit the California coast.
Beaches in LA County and Marina del Rey will be closed for safety reasons until at least noon today. Eyewitness News reporter Monica de Anda live in Marina del Rey with the latest details. Monica.
Rachel, John, good morning. Right now we're taking a close look at the conditions that we're seeing, and it seems pretty calm out here, you can see, but we have seen so far this morning multiple people from this community come on out and also be out here taking a look themselves because, of course, they heard about that tsunami advisory that's in effect for our coast, and they want to make sure they're keeping a close eye on the waves, but everything's super calm out here right now. Now, best case scenario, it comes in as low tide, but we may not notice much, but there's also a possibility of this.
Comes in at high tide and it's on the upper side. We might see, coming over the boardwalk in Venice, maybe, some of the, if
Venice
you were like
Beach.
right on the beach, then there would be some issue.
Not Venice, Italy.
The National Weather Service forecasting minimal impacts, including potential wave.
Yeah, this is a great example of what I was talking about here. You may not be able to visualize it. And yes, this is that pier from GTA 5. You may not be able to tell just from looking at it, but I've been to this beach, and it is actually hell to walk from the parking lot. There's not even a parking lot. Well, there is, but it's not big. To walk from the road. Because, okay, let me lay this out for you guys. It is insane. If you played GTA 5, you already know a bit of this layout, but you've got like a main street, a main coast street of high-rises and restaurants that runs along a cliff. On one side, you've got high-rises to your left if you're walking towards the pier from one direction, the direction I came from. And on the right, you've got a cliff with an overlook, and below is a street. And then there's houses on the other side of that street. And there is a walkway that goes from the top of this cliff over the street and the houses down to a sidewalk that runs along the start of the beach and up to the start of the pier. And you get on the pier, or you can walk down the beach, but I shit you not. I mean, look at how many buildings they fit on this pier. Now consider how big this beach is, how much of this pier is just over beach. When I walked, or I should say ran, down this beach to get to the water, I was shocked at how long it took. Like, I was running full speed, full exertion, And I was like, the water's just ahead, right? Right? Why is it not getting any closer? Oh my God, why am I still running and it's still not getting any closer? Like, I could not believe how long I was running for before I reached the water. It is like a 1.5 wide beach. The West Coast does not have too much to worry about insofar as tsunamis, but granted, I was probably there at low tide. But dude, the East Coast would be fucked. You don't have beaches like this anywhere on the East Coast. That's why I'm so mind blown by Venice Beach.
The National Weather Service forecasting minimal impacts, including potential wave surge of less than 1 foot overnight and rip currents today. Los Angeles City departments are working closely with county and state officials, activating the city's emergency operations center.
I'm like, as a Florida boy, I'm kind of scared of the Pacific Ocean. It's cold, it's like really deep and like blue, and it's full of big shit. Like right next to the shore, there are great white sharks and killer whales. It's like, it feels like a level 60 zone ocean-wise, and I'm just used to having to worry about bull sharks. Which, like, no one wants to get attacked by a bull shark, but also I think I can survive getting attacked by a bull shark, because, like, I know what to do. Like, I'd fuck up its gills and its eyes the second I felt jaws on my body. You know, I'd be like, time to gouge a bull shark's eyes out. So, but a great white would chomp me in half, and an orca might do unspeakable things to me before mutilating my body with its jaws. Listen, those cetaceans, or whatever they're called, they rape. Dolphins and killer whales rape, man. I'm scared of them.
Now, here's what this means for you. Stay away from beaches, harbors, marinas, and waterways due to strong waves and currents. You should also avoid jetties, piers, boat docks, and waterfront walkways. The tsunami advisory was triggered following a massive 8.8 earthquake that struck off Russia's Pacific coast yesterday, one of the largest quakes recorded. And this morning, people...
Yeah, Russia got it rough. Dude, what deal did Zelensky make with the Earth Kingdom to have this happen? Oh my lord. Looks like you're gonna have to move some of those troops out of Ukraine to do some first responder shit in Russia, huh, Putin?
People here in Marina del Rey are already up, keeping a very close eye on the situation.
Hey Putin, maybe now's a good time to stop invading another country and focus on making sure your country's okay.
We're holding our breath.
I don't think we saw much of a tidal wave, but we have seen a lot of surge going in and then immediately reversing course and going right back out to the sea. So it's pretty interesting to see something like that, to see the tide shift so quickly.
Look like Jim Carrey.
And right now, you may be able to notice the water. It's pretty calm. There's not a lot of movement here, and that is a good sign. We talked to the security guard for this area here, Marina del Rey. He tells us he thinks things will be okay, but of course, everyone here on high alert. Neighbors telling us that they are taking precautions.
Dude, when I heard a tsunami might be coming, I was like, fuck. Like, of all things, a tsunami? I've dealt with hurricanes, I've dealt with bomb cyclones and tropical storms. I've felt plenty of earthquakes, and I live at the foot of a volcano, more or less. Mount Rainier is, you know, not too far off, so that could erupt one day. I might one day experience a volcanic eruption. A super volcanic eruption, might I add. But a tsunami, dude. Like, I was more scared of the possibility of a tsunami than I was of a volcanic eruption. A volcanic eruption would be cool. I'd get to see it erupt. I'd get to see that. But a tsunami is just a wall of water coming to take everything from you. Maybe your life as well. That's way scarier than a volcanic eruption, in my opinion.
Just in case. Reporting live in Marina del Rey, Monica de Anda, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Hey, Monica, thanks. Be safe out there.
And our team coverage continues with meteorologist Leslie Lopez tracking the conditions right now.
Yeah, you know, one of the things that really becomes a big question for people that are just waiting to see how this is all going to play out. Again, this is a changing situation, and a lot of information needs to come down the pike as the system and that big wave starts to move its way through. Now, one of the bigger concerns when we talk about tidal waves and the origin and then how far it expands out to sea and in other locations is really that part of it. We're talking about that water vertically displacing based upon the slippage zone where that fault line is. Now, there's a couple things.
Hold on, I forget what the name for this is. So there's the subducting plate, which is the one that like goes under the other plate. and goes down into the mantle. What is the top plate called? When like you've got the subducting plate, what is it called when the non-subducting plate is going over the subducting plate? What is that word called? Because it didn't stick with me. I can't recall it right now. I'd know it if someone in chat got it right. I'm
With
failing.
the fault line that really contribute to how large that vertical displacement is, in addition to how far of an expanse it can carry. So one, if this moves very high up and then really starts to vertically displace the water, we're talking about a very big wave making its way through, of course, our oceans. It also depends on how fast.
So there's still a risk that this plate moves further and we get like a legit scary tsunami out of this. It's not over.
That slippage happens as fast as it goes up and down. That creates also another area of force that would really help to create more opportunities for a very fast moving tidal wave. And then in addition, this slip zone, how many miles of slip was there? If it's thousands of miles across, I mean, it could be a very large area impacted by a tidal wave. So when you get these watches that upgrade to advisories and could possibly upgrade to warnings, again, all of the scientists are watching and waiting and seeing how some of this goes forward and moves through the region. So
like, can't we have like a dude in a fighter jet like fly around and like see if there's some big waves, and if there are, like start following them to see if they're like getting bigger and heading towards the west coast? Like, I'm sure we've got a way, because like the way I imagine this is like a big, like imagine you throw a rock into a relatively still pond and it sends out the ripples. I'm imagining that, but way more significant, larger scale. Like, couldn't you find the line of ripples and just follow that to see? I guess there's like there's still movement. Like, it's still, the plate is still subducting and the other plate is still rising, so water displacement is still occurring. The waves travel faster than the speed of sound and air. Well, that's why I said a fighter jet, not a helicopter. Because fighter jets, I promise you, they can go faster than the speed of sound.
right now, we're still at an advisory level. What does that mean? It means that you do want to stay off the shore, and you certainly want to be concerned that any type of vessels out on the water could see some minor damage.
Overnight, while many were sleeping, tsunami waves.
We got an advisory for a tsunami warning yesterday for coastal areas in the Philippines. Yeah, because that's all in the Pacific and very prone to rising water causing problems. From what I understand, the Philippines, it's got mountains, but most people aren't living on a hill or a mountain. They're living basically at sea level and almost all coastally. So a tsunami is a scary thing in the Philippines. I hope you guys end up being okay. I hope that the water level doesn't rise an inch. Water and rock transmits mechanical waves faster than a jet can. Does it? Maybe. I don't know. Jets can go pretty goddamn fast, but maybe I'm wrong. You guys might know better. Anyway, folks, I hope, even if you are a Russian out there, because, you know, we don't hate Russians here just because Putin is a tyrant. You know, I hope my Russian fans out there are okay. I hope all my Pacific Ocean residing fans are okay, because I know a lot of you guys live in island countries such as the Philippines that could do without a tsunami. And I hope that the West Coast does not get fucked. Stay safe out there, my friends. And I hope if you're Russian, you don't get fucked up by that there giant earthquake, that 8.8 third worst earthquake in Russian history earthquake. Speak for yourself. Listen, we don't hate all Russians just because of Putin. We don't do that here. Anyway, folks, if you enjoyed this segment, if you found it entertaining, educational, or enjoyable in any way whatsoever, then please consider leaving a like and a comment. Whether you're watching live or after the fact when it goes up as its own video, every like and every comment boosts the channel and the algorithm for totally free, and it only takes a second, so be a liker, not a lurker. And subscribe and ring the bell icon to turn on all notifications if you haven't already, so YouTube actually tells you when I go live or upload new videos in the future, because if you don't, they won't. Or Yeah. And of course, if you want to see more from me on other platforms, particularly my fan Discord, which is the main hub of my community and fan base, I highly recommend that you join my fan Discord through the link down below. It's the main hub of my community and fan base, and on top of that, I host weekly gaming events, call-in streams, and watch parties, or movie nights in my Discord every Friday. And on top of that, if you want to see more from me in the future on other platforms, and just in general, you want to support the channel financially, you can donate, subscribe, or gift a sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or support me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, or Patreon. Or even buy some Xander Hall merch in the Streamlabs link down below if you want to help me keep the lights on and a roof above my head here at the Xander Hall studio. Regardless of how you support me, though, thank you all so much for watching, as always, and have a good one.